The RS-12 was a great innovation for us. There was a lot of features that were incorporated into it compared to the RS-4 that we used to run. But we felt that with new technologies and a lot of the feedback from the race teams that there were some areas that we could really fine-tune and improve the product even more. If you recall back in 2021 when Honda released their new CRF and it had that oval exhaust port, that threw a challenge for I think everyone in the industry, and we realized right away that we needed to take advantage of that performance of the oval exhaust port and transition that into a round in the best way possible. And really the only way to do that, to get that perfect flow, is through a hydroform piece. So now that tube goes from the oval and transitions into a round without any weld seams, without any interior disruptions that would slow down that flow, because that port, that 2 inches from the exhaust port, is one of the most critical areas for the performance of the exhaust system. So the smoothest you can make that, those benefits go through the entire stream of the exhaust system. So hydroforming is a big technology that we've incorporated over the last couple of years in partnership with our hydroforming partner that helps us with that. On the engineering side, it really helps us optimize those build volumes and the shapes within the muffler. You're not limited to manual things that you're rolling and welding in tubes. You can now create an organic shape that fits perfectly in that build volume for each bike. In this case, we're talking about the CRF 250 and 450. So as an engineer, it opens up that ability. You're not constrained by your normal manufacturing processes. If you pull off the number plate on the CRFs and you see those pads of where that number plate is supposed to sit, you'll see on the OEM muffler that there's integrated spots. Well, we're now able to recreate those spots on our muffler the exact same way. So you get the same fitment as an OEM exhaust, except we're able to take use of all of that space underneath that number plate to help with the muffler volume to reduce sounds and increase performance. But then the added benefit of Hydroform is that you get a stronger muffler sleeve. It's no longer a collaboration of 3 pieces that are welded together and all these different forming steps. You get one smooth, elegant looking part. So a couple years ago we integrated machine joints even on our stainless product, and that gives you a much more repeatable diameter when you're putting in the slip fit from the header to the muffler inlet. One of the negatives though is that you need to use anti-seize. If anybody has ever put those two together and ran for multiple motos on a stainless exhaust system and then tried to take it apart, you'll see the wear that's in there and also how difficult it can be to get those two to separate. So we found this proprietary coating that we call carbon facing, and what that actually does is impregnate carbon atoms into that top surface of that stainless material. You don't see any difference, there's no weight difference, there's no visible difference between one or the other, but now you don't have to have that anti-seize. It's baked into the joint for the life of the joint. So now that material drastically improves the amount of wear you're going to have versus not using anti-seize, and also will allow the galling to be reduced. So if you run the same amount of motos or the same amount of time, you'll see those parts will easily come apart and are very easily reconnected again after you service your muffler, and the anti-seize is baked into it. The consumer doesn't need to do any extra steps. You'll see when you install it, it's like it was meant to be.